are go for liftoff in T minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
So this is Italo from Italo's Blackberry Radio, and I want to welcome my guest, Jair. This is Jair, or
This is Jair. Jair.
Okay.
Jair, yeah.
Bula, right?
It's a hard job. Yeah, Jair Bula, yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome to the show. This is I haven't talked to you in a little while now. I think the last time we were...
It's been a couple of months. Yeah, it's been a couple. I think maybe February.
Yeah, I think it was one of the off season office hours. We were starting doing a promotion, and we were hopeful that by now, because now is what almost May now.
Almost May,
we'll rehearsed. That we would have been remember all these lines. We'd be all stressed out. We would have been promoting our show.
Doing our tech rehearsals. Rehearsing every night. Yep, that was the plan, right?
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
Coronavirus.
So much for... I know. Coronavirus had a different plan for us.
I know. There should be a show called Coronavirus. Somebody should come
I
up
don't
with
know.
that.
I feel like it's everywhere now. So it's like, I don't know about you, but I look to TV and to other people talking about different things sometimes just to kind of escape it, you know?
Yeah.
So
we're not talking about coronavirus today.
We're not.
No, people, relax. You can breathe. Take off your mask. It's okay. It's safe. So, anyways, how you been?
I've been good. I actually I've been working still because I work in a hospital. So, those rarely ever close, especially now. So I've been doing my Monday through Friday 9 to 5 thing, that I hope that by now, before this whole thing happened, that would have changed, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, well, we don't know how much longer, but we hope it's going to be... Now, we're talking about, for those that don't know yet, or haven't listened to my show, I've been doing it for 10 years, but who knows, right? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
For those that
You've been doing this show for 10 years?
Actually, yeah. On and off, but more off than on. But as of lately, I was trying to focus on the Hollywood Fringe Festival and trying to gain momentum by now. I would have been doing daily shows with actors, producers, directors, creative people, and getting inspiration from them or vice versa, and exchanging ideas and information. And hey, how are you promoting your show?
Well, it's important. Yeah, it's important because we support each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's
and there's
important
no coverage.
to kind of have that contact.
If you look at TV, if you look at the entertainment news, if you look at ET or whatever, TNC, they never mention anything about theater. So, there's no promotion for theater, and that's a shame because we live in Los Angeles, California, which is supposed to be the mecca of entertainment, and blah blah. But people don't really pay attention to the people that are creating different things. And the festival, to me, I've been doing it for now. It's going to be the third year. I think it's actually one of the best thing that's happened because to me because not only the people that I met along the way and the friendships that I made, but also because there's so many messages out there. There's so many, you know. I never knew about alopecia. I never knew about it being infertile, or I never knew about depression and what does it feel to be an actor in this town, or a bulimic, the bulimic girl. I'm just thinking of different titles. But
I mean, we all have different stories, right? We have different stories to tell, and the Fringe Festival is a good platform for us to be able to tell our stories, give our message out. So it's good. But in a way, I've been now that everybody's been forced into quarantine, you see a lot of people doing like a lot of self-tapes and a lot of like play readings and things like that, all online. And I've been trying to watch as much of it as possible because I know a lot of artists, so it's kind of hard to keep up with everybody. But in a way it's been good to see that even people that weren't really doing this kind of stuff before, now they are putting out material. So it's kind of forced us to come out of our shell a little bit. So,
Right. Somebody I was talking to somebody else in the interview, and he was saying, how interesting that we're in the social distancing practice right now. But even though there's social distancing, we urge to talk to people that we haven't talked to. We haven't thought of talking to people in Home Depot or in the store in line, or we haven't really paid attention to what's around us until now. That we don't have we don't have the hassle and bustle. Well, maybe you do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most people are out of a job and they don't have a social life per se. Although I don't see much difference on me. That is, because all I was doing is Lyft and Uber and stuff, and working on the material for the show. But for most people, it's been really hard. So I think it shows that the human spirit, we urge to be more social in these times than we ever had before.
Yeah. I mean, I think this whole thing also has it's forcing people to be with themselves, and that is a hard thing to do sometimes for a lot of us. To kind of sit with our own anxiety and just kind of exist, without anything to do. But that, I feel, can be very healing. At least it has been for me. Like, this time by myself, and because my only social, I guess, time I spent is at work, and not even, because even there we have to kind of keep our distance from one another. But it's been a time for me just to kind of just be with myself and meditate and get into a kind of healthy routine every day to take care of myself, and all of that has been super helpful in my well-being, funny enough. So and I know I hope other people are doing the same,
Yeah. I know I have. I've grown a lot, and it may sound corny, or it may sound cliche, I guess. But it's true. I don't know. And then learning all these different things that I'm learning online now. As far as I would just say conspiracy theories, but I really don't think they are. But it's just come to a time where things are real. Things are getting more real than they ever were before to me. And I'm like, wow, I can see it now. I can see Oh, okay. Which I won't get into because, of course, that's very political, very negative sometimes to talk about. But I've been talking to some random, friends, and somebody that I was talking to was my cousin in Spain, in Torragona, of all places. I don't even know. Well, anyways, I was talking to him, and I was telling him how life has been here in LA and everything. He's like, wow, I miss LA. He's like, you don't even know, Victor. He's like, I'm like, what? I'd rather be in Spain right now. He's like, no, no, you don't.
Really?
You don't even know. You don't even know how it is over here. You can't even go outside. There's no restaurant. There's no delivery.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. If you're gonna go somewhere, it's either the pharmacy or the grocery store, and that's it. Nothing else is open. And they're very strict, in Spain and Europe. And I'm like, wow. And in Peru, it's even worse. Peru, that's where my family's from. They're even more strict and martial law.
I feel like I feel like other countries have been more severe in the isolation of people and enforcing that, which so we're gonna get political, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much, but but I kind of agree. I kind of agree with it to some degree because I feel like the more severe, like if a reaction would have been more severe if our initial reaction would have been more severe in the beginning stages, we might be at a different place right now. But that's that's getting into the realm of coronavirus, which we said we're not going to talk about. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like I try to avoid the subject, but
it's just everywhere. You can't avoid it, right? You almost can't avoid it. So.
Yeah, but you know what? We're a third way of the interview, so let's just switch gears and let's talk about something more positive.
Yeah.
Because we need positivity right now, and
yes.
Speaking of positive things and positive messages, I don't even know. I don't remember the name of your show, but tell us about your show because.
It's titled I Am. It's a show that I wrote. It was actually my senior thesis of sorts for theater school back in Florida. After I graduated, I took the show. I did it a couple times, like in theaters out in Miami. I did. Then I took it to New York City in 2014 to the United Soul Theater Festival. So it's about it's based on the story of Jesus Christ that the time that he spent in the desert, and in the end he's tempted by the devil. And even though I'm not a very religious person per se, I'm more quote unquote what other people say, it's spiritual. I think everybody says that now. We're all spiritual. But I'm really not.
Right.
This particular I wrote it, and when I moved to LA, I was thinking of ways of getting out there and becoming part of the artistic community. And I learned about the Fringe Festival, and I said, you know what? Let me bring out this show again, and let me see what I can do with it. And I actually expanded on it. Like I added characters to it. I made it more dynamic, I think, and it'll happen. It's gonna happen at some point. It will happen. It'll happen.
Well, if you don't want to talk, if you want to talk about the characters, I mean, I don't know if you want to give it away, but what characters?
Well, no,
because I find it interesting how they came up with that idea and stuff.
Yeah, how the whole thing started. It's you might think I'm weird, but whatever. I did say I was spiritual. I had a dream many years ago that I was playing Jesus, and that dream kind of stuck in my head. So I was in my dream. I was like on top of a stage. I was wearing like a mask of Jesus, and then I had like this really long hair, which I used to have really long hair. And so that idea of playing Jesus kind of stuck in my head, you know. And then years later, I went to school, and I was our assignment was to come up with a historical, not come up with a historical character, but find a historical character and tell their story or tell a part of their story. I almost actually was not going to be able to do it because the dean, not the dean, but the director of the theater program at the time, she almost didn't let me do it because she says, you know, that Jesus is not really historical. Because it's like almost religious, like belief, faith, whatever. I'm like, you know what? Some people believe in history. It's in the book. There are some books that do talk about Jesus, you know. I'm like, whatever. But she let me do it. So
we'll give her a
and
pass,
so the story.
Like, okay.
But she let me do it.
I said I'll give her a pass because I'm like, this is historical, 100%. Yeah. Like, whatever. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So, anyway, so I that particular story, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do for my 1-person show for school. So, one day I was watching the History Channel, and they were talking about this particular part of the Bible, and when he went to the desert and he kind of faced the devil in that particular moment of his story. And I thought that's a great story to tell because it's like the ultimate like good and evil, right? Fighting against each other. And so that's why I chose it, and it ultimately has become a story that kind of, you know, that gives a message to keep up, you know, to always keep hope in your heart, you know, and always continue to you know, to like face all the odds, and even though things may look, you know, dark sometimes, you know, it's important to keep hope alive and to continue to move forward. So that's essentially the message I want to pass on with the story. But yeah, I did write other characters in it because in my version of this story, Jesus is married to Mary Magdalene. Which was a controversial thing at some point. And so I bring her in. And I bring in other characters like Mother Mary and Archangel Gabriel and like other players in his story.
Right.
And so it wasn't like that originally. Originally, it was just, you know, the character Jesus with himself, you know, kind of living his conflict and talking to God and kind of dealing with the reality of being in the desert for 40 days, being hungry and lost and everything, right? So, but yeah.
Interesting. Is this a 1-person show or?
Yeah, it's a 1-person show.
Wow. Okay.
It's a 1-person show. Yeah.
Well, that's really wow. So you're gonna be playing Mary Magdalene too?
Actually, yeah. I am.
Okay. I have to see it because I'm like.
Yeah, I am gonna play Mary Magdalene.
Right.
I am gonna play
Mother
Mary, and yeah, and I've tried to make the play more like I started watching like during my writing process. I just felt like, you know, because before the show was 30 minutes long, so one person for 30 minutes and just kind of monologuing was, I think, okay. But once you start to take it past that, I feel like, especially when you know for the Fringe, they normally want them to be about an hour long, right? I felt like
Well,
I need to like
some
no
shows
no
I've
not
seen,
really.
some shows I've seen actually are 20-minute long, sometimes half an hour long. I mean, they say that's what they say. They want you to make it compact and everything, so they don't want you to do a 3-hour show, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which that's what I understand, that they don't want it, because people get restless and people get kind of like, oh, you said it will be an hour and you're taking an hour and a half now.
And you're taking yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
the idea. But you can do a
person,
20-minute you can do a 20-minute show, and it's the greatest 20-minute show I've seen. Like actually I've seen some shows that I'm like, wow, there was a show called I Died Today, and shout out to I forget the name of the writer right now, but I have him on. Greg, I think is his name. Anyways, so the story, just to give it a little synopsis, he basically has a heart attack and dies. In real life, that's what happened, right? And then he tells his story as to what happened, retelling his story. It's like a monologue, basically. And his dog, Vita, is trying to, anyways, he was walking the dog, and that's what happened. But anyhow, the curious thing was, like, it was only 20 minutes long, and he chose 4 actors, right? So you're thinking, wait a minute, is this a one-person show, or you know what I mean? Like,
or
you're
a
like,
play,
what the hell?
or a play, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what it was? It's like he chose the different actors. So this actor had, that's this version of the story, and he did it his way. And then another actor did it another way. And another one was preaching more than anything. And the other one was, and so every actor brought something different to the show, right? So when you finish watching one actor, you're like, oh, the other actor's coming up next. I want to pay and see the other actor because I like this one, but let me see what this other one does with the same script. And so it was like, wow, genius. So you're a genius, dude. Like, so.
So
and
each
then
actor has 20 minutes?
Yeah. But, it was, if you end up seeing one guy, you don't necessarily have to see the other ones because it's the same story. But if you wanted to see different aspects or how actors take the they take the script differently and they personalize it in a different way. So it was interesting to see. I didn't see the other actors. I just saw one of them. But they were telling me the others were really, really great. And the one I saw, according to the people that I talked to, was the best one. But I'm like, but I'm still curious. What did the other 3 do? So you can do 10 minutes. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting to me.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing also about the Fringe, right? It's very open. There's not a lot of limitations as to what you can do. I forget what they call it. It's not open access. It's something else that pretty much you can bring and show whatever you want, right? They don't really restrict your
curated.
voice too much. It's not what?
Yeah, it's not curated. Like they don't curate.
Yeah. Like
there are some festivals that they have to be pre-approved by this committee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is just everything goes. Like if you want to just throw blood at yourself on stage, go ahead. There's no limit on Hollywood. Which is interesting to me. Like, okay, wow, you can do whatever you want. So that's interesting that you chose the story of Jesus. Because I actually find that passage of the gospel. I don't know which gospel. I don't know if it was one of the gospels, but that was really. It actually was. It actually in my show. I mentioned it in Mother Trials. I mentioned that particular passage. So, anyways, I'm just gonna give that away. I won't say more. Yeah. But yeah, I do find that passage interesting because, like you say,
Yeah.
it's is it a snake? Is it a person?
Yeah.
You know, is it himself? Is it Mother Magdalene? You know, Mother Mary coming to him? Was it different people in his head? What was it?
Yeah.
Like you really
What
have
was
to
it?
wonder,
Yeah.
like, and who was there to
I mean,
witness it?
He was in, according to the story, he was in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, no food, fasting, right? And it's just, so many things could have happened, and so that's kind of what I play with in my play. I'm like, could it be a psychosis? It could be a psychosis of some sort. Maybe he ate a shroom, you know.
Right. Well, could have been, you know, or he could have a hallucination.
Yeah.
You're dehydrated.
Maybe it is. Yeah. Maybe it's himself. It's a fight with himself. And maybe it's, and I do make a comment about that. You know, like we all have like an inner demon that we deal with and we fight with. That, you know, that voice that tells us that we can't do something, that we're not good enough, that we're too fat, we're too this, we're too that, we're too short, we're too Hispanic, we're too whatever, right? And so so that I feel like that's something that resonates a lot in this story, you know, because if you read and without trying to sound too religious-y, if you read the story, you know, the question, the devil questions him as far as like asking him, like, if you are who you say you are, then prove it to me by doing this, like throw yourself off this cliff. So he's questioning his identity. You know, who, like, if you are the Son of God, you know, like if you're really the person you say you are, then prove it to me. So that question of identity, of who am I, and you know, am I really someone who is able to follow my dreams and make them come true, you know, or am I someone who just gives up on them? You know, who am I? Like, how do I define myself? That question, I think, is something that resonates in all of us, I think. And we make those choices, right? And we decide whether to fight that voice or let it take over. So
I don't think it's religiously at all.
Yeah.
I don't, you know.
Yeah.
I don't, because I was raised Catholic, whatever, right? But actually, I was asked the question, you know, recently, like, do you consider yourself a Catholic still? And I'm like, yeah. But I'm like, I'm questioning that too, because I'm like, I'm not just that, you know. I'm just we're more complex, and we're more, that kind of like puts you in the box. And I mean, I don't believe in saints. I don't believe in praying to Mother Mary sometimes.
Yeah.
Although we had to, you know, growing up, I had to do it. Ave Maria Purísima, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you had to, you know,
Hail Marys and the Our Father.
Yeah.
There was this one, it's Catholics, man. They really do make you feel guilty about stuff, even in their prayers. I don't know if you remember, because I grew up in Colombia. I was born in Colombia, and I went to Catholic schools over there. And there was this one prayer in which you had to like beat your chest. And you say like mi culpa, por mi gran culpa. Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, geez, like this is like.
No, what did I do?
Now I think about it, I'm like, why am I guilting myself? Like, you know.
It needs a long ass prayer. Like I'm halfway through, I'm like, I was just mumbling whatever. I'm like, I'm not sure what. and
then beating your chest. You know,
beating your chest,
guilty man. Yeah.
And I was 8 years old, you know, like doing that.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna tell you, because all that stuff gets put in the back of your head, and you know, that, and even though like I don't consider myself to be a Catholic now, because I don't go to church even or anything, but it does become part of, obviously, of who we are, right, as people, and it kind of, at least for me, like, it's dictated my faith. You know, obviously I'm doing a show about Jesus, I've developed my own relationship with the religious and with the spiritual, but it was influenced by that, Catholic rearing.
Right.
It's part of who we are, but like you said, that's not all we are, right? We're much more than just that.
No, because the thing with religion it's really a cult, like we say religion, but we really mean cult, because if you belong to the Catholic Church, you are in a cult, and knowing that, and knowing the word cult itself is really very it's just weird to me. Like, I'm not in a cult. What do you mean? I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
But you are. you are to believe in a certain set of rules within the church, and then you have to confess to the priest, and you have to, say your prayers, and you have to, your restriction, whatever they call it, the act of restriction or whatever. So in a way, you are in a cult, and it's just a realization of been in a cult to me, and how they treated me, during those years. Yeah. I mean, it's formative. It's they teach you good stuff, and I'm not going to say that it's all bad, but it also limits you from exploring other beliefs and other spiritual. I was always interested in the Hare Krishna and the other religions, but it was I was rebelling against it. That's what I was doing. I was rebelling. So I'm like, well, let me find out about the Hare Krishna, and maybe I want to shave my head and start, hanging out at the airport and stuff like that. And in Peru, they're in Peru is very Catholic, like in Colombia, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
So going against the Catholic Church is a sin. It's like really sinful.
Yeah.
It's really
forbidden. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why it drove me away from the church, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go against it, and you find yourself.
But it's funny, like in my family, and maybe I'm not sure, like, and I feel like in a lot of people, like in Colombia, people, like, they go to church, they baptize their children, they do their first communion, they do all of those rituals, but it's become more part of the culture, I feel, more than anything else, more than people actually being, like, truly devoted to the church. You know what I mean? Like, because I see that, for example, with my mom. Like my mom, she baptized all of her children, and she's not like a religious person at all. Like, she actually shares in your opinion about the Catholic being a church being a cult. But she's still very adamant about wanting to get my little baby nephew baptized. And she was adamant about getting all of us baptized, and she wanted all of us to do like our first communion and take the pictures and all of that. So it's like it was more like it's become more like a cultural habit, I guess, more than anything else, more than a religious, like thing you do,
Well, it's also about the el que dirán, what would they say?
Yeah.
If I don't baptize my kid, they're gonna think that I'm, an atheist or worse, might be a satanist or satanico or whatever. And they always give you those fears, there. If you don't baptize your kid and he ends up dying, you gotta pray for his soul, and like. Now I'm laughing because I'm like, what a bunch of bullshit.
Get the demons out of the child and dunk him into holy water.
What is more pure than a child?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but the original sin. I'm like, well, it's not his fault. Like, it's the parents' fault that whatever. Yeah. So I have many things against the church, but it's not. Yeah, I can go on too, but
it's complicated.
It is complicated because I was very involved with the church. I was in those the youth programs, the youth things where they have these encuentros, and they have I don't know what they call them here, but it's basically like you go to
kind of like Bible camp, sort.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so I became really involved in that, and I was actually one of the speakers, and I started doing a little theater myself. I remember now, and I'm like, wow, I was really involved. But it wasn't because of it was more about the connection with people, and that actually helped me develop my personality the way it is now. So I do actually, cherish those moments. But at the same time, I was bringing people to the church. You know what it is? That I was pushing people. I was like the bait, and I noticed that was the bait. You're like you're very charismatic, and so I was like, so you're using me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, for some people too, the church. I think for some people, going to church too it's about community, and that's their community. Because I don't think not all churches are bad, especially if what they're preaching is love and acceptance. Hey, why not? Then go ahead and do your thing. But when it starts to get into the realm of manipulating people or taking money from them or making them feel guilty about who they are or what they do and all of that, that's really not, if you look at Christian teachings, it's really not the Christian thing to do. So
I'm sure Jesus wouldn't approve.
No, exactly. I don't think he himself intended to start a whole religion.
Right.
But
didn't he get upset in the temple? And he just started going nuts and throwing everybody away from the temple because
they were selling. They were handling like business in the temple, selling things in there. If I remember the story correctly, and it's the temple and
that's a
great
story, by the way.
It is.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of different ideas now.
Hey, it is. You never know.
Yeah,
for the sequel. There you go. Maybe you could write it, and that could be the Fringe Festival for a couple of years from now.
Well, which story or which interpretation of the Jesus story I like best is Jesus Christ Superstar, and the music is awesome and everything, but the one scene that really gets to me every single time is the Last Supper. And the argument between Jesus and Judas is like, oh, my Lord. Now I'm interested. I want to see, this is point you're like, this is the awesomest song ever because there's so much argument and so much passion and he's the best friend is betraying him, and you're going to deny me, and you will deny me, and you were betraying me. And I'm like, fuck, that's a great scene. So that will be another.
Yeah.
I love it.
I have to admit, I you know what? I have not seen Jesus Christ. I mean, I know of the show, but I've never seen it. Yeah. Well, now I'm going to look it up.
Well, you have to see
the
original. The original 1973, I think it is. Ted Neely's Jesus, and I forget the name of the other actor, but Judas and Jesus were in Pilate. Pontius Pilate is amazing too. It's another. Oh my God, yes. So you have to see it. I did like John Legend being Jesus, but not as much as the original. The original one from 1973. But anyways, it's a great story. And you may get inspiration from that too. Yeah,
I actually did. Like, I bought a whole bunch of, like, when I was in the process of writing the original script, I I bought a whole books on like the historical Jesus. I bought the apocryphal gospels. I bought the Mary Magdalene gospel. I bought like anything that had Jesus in it. I pretty much like I bought it to try and get some inspiration for my story. Hence, I included the Mary Magdalene in my piece because in her gospel, she talks about how in the Bible they talk about when Jesus turned water into wine and multiplied the bread and all that. It was that particular event in her gospel. It was actually their wedding when he did that.
What?
And in the Bible,
my goodness.
Yeah, in the Bible it says that it was like his cousin's wedding or something. Yeah. But in her gospel, it was their wedding. Yeah, it was their wedding. You get a sense of a more of a human Jesus, in that piece. It's really beautiful. It really is beautiful.
Now I have to get that. So yeah, I have to read that book. And you have to watch Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes, I do. I do. Have you ever seen or...
Sorry, right?
Huh? No, I was going to ask you if you ever seen or read The Last Days of Judas Iscariot.
No.
It's oh man, the name of the playwright is escaping me right now. Stephen Adly Gurgis. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
And it's actually, it takes place in purgatory, and it's the trial of Judas Iscariot. Like he's the one on trial, and
that sounds amazing.
And so they bring, it's actually they make some really great points. Like, they bring Pontius Pilate in, they bring in they bring Jesus, like, and it just everybody comes in. The devil comes in, and it's just like it's a really cool way of like how they talk about like kind of like the hypocrisy of the story, like one of the Pontius Pilate monologues, he says, like, what do you know about my story? Like, what do you know about my truth? Because the lawyer, one of the lawyers who's like trying to get them to condemn Judas, she's like pressuring and like putting pressure on Pontius to like tell the truth, whatever. And he's like, well, what do you know about what's the truth? Like, you weren't there, and those people who wrote the Bible were not even there when the events actually happened. Because those books were written like years, like hundreds of years after Jesus had died.
Yeah.
So
right.
It kind of points out like all of the holes, right?
Wow.
And all of the theories.
We're gonna have to do a part 2 because we should have started with that.
Look, I know, right?
We got less than a minute, so I do want to thank Jair. 45 minutes. So Jair Bula,
awesome.
Thank you for calling today. We're gonna have a part 2, I'm sure. Stay safe. Wear your mask, and peace out.
All right.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
coming.